And for the first time ever, we're starting early today. Hooray! I should have done that cough before I started. Hey everybody, so this is a huge day for me. I'm super excited to open up testing JavaScript to the world. I should say that the content is actually not available yet. This is early bird today, but I want to show you testing JavaScript, give you an outline of what this is all about. And I think that you're going to absolutely love this. And I will have the chat open if people have questions about things. Yeah, this is going to be so great. I'm so excited to show this to you because I've been working on this for a silly amount of time. And it's not just me. I want to give a huge shout out to Egghead. If this looks familiar to you, you're like, hey, that style looks familiar. Yeah, that's she's Mapleton's Maggie Appleton. I think that's her name. Oh, rats. Here, let's get that because she is amazing. Mapleton's. Yeah, Maggie Appleton. There we go. She is just so good at her job. Yeah, you should actually follow her on Twitter. She does this every now and then. But she'll show you how she's building stuff. It's so cool. So yeah, she did all the artwork. Egghead is doing all of the like back end building of everything. I'm doing all the content. We're working together to make this really awesome thing for you, and I just couldn't be more thrilled with the way that things are turning out. So yeah, let's talk about this. So this is the testing trophy. If you're not familiar with this, I came up with the testing trophy as I was trying to or figure out what I envision around testing. If you've heard of the testing triangle, then like I looked at that and I was like, I just don't believe that's the case. And then Guillermo Rausch tweeted write test, not too many, mostly integration. Right here, this was quite a while ago, and I was like, yes, that's what it is. So I wrote a blog post on it. I gave a talk on it, and this is where I talked about, hey, here's the testing triangle, but no, we want the testing, or I guess it's the testing pyramid, sorry. But yeah, we want the testing trophy, and this was my little artwork of it, and then Maggie just like made it amazing. So yeah, this is the testing trophy. I'm going to talk about this more in depth tomorrow. Monday. I only live stream on weekdays, but yeah, so if you want a deeper dive on the testing trophy, tune in same time, same place on Monday. Yeah, it's great, and it's worked super well for me in my years as a tester. It's been great. So feel free to read all this stuff. I'm going to kind of skip over it. I want to focus what we're doing or what we're talking about on the content of the course, because lots of you are probably curious what this thing even has in it. So yeah, we have 7 modules or courses, series of courses, whatever you want to call this, in this one testingjavascript.com site and that we're launching initially. And I'll talk about each one of these. So the fundamentals of testing in JavaScript. This is something that I think every course should have something like this, like regardless of what you're teaching about. There should be some time. Let's take a step back from all the abstractions and talk about what are these abstractions doing. I do that for my React stuff, and that works out really nicely. I do that for my testing stuff as well. And I have taught all of this, or lots of this material, not all of it, but lots of this material in workshops and things, a lot. Thousands of developers have learned from me about testing, and I know what works, and this is a really crucial piece to this course. So in this piece, in this module, we actually build a testing framework. I start like, here's an empty JavaScript file. Let's write some tests for this sum and add function. Really simple, but to give you the fundamentals so that through the rest of the course, you understand what's going on. So yeah, that's the fundamentals. It's really cool. We build a testing framework and an assertion library. And you'll notice here it's 8 minutes of learning material, and you might be like what? I have introductions on YouTube that are longer than 8 minutes. which is true and really unfortunate. So all of the course material here is very, very to the point, dense. The expectation is that you can watch it again if you didn't catch it the first time. And so I wouldn't say that it's fast. Like most people, my material, they say that it's well paced, but it's just very dense. So when you see that I have 5 hours of material on here, this is like some really legit stuff. I don't expect you to watch the whole thing front to back and really grab everything from it. I expect this to be kind of a study companion for you. And that's why we also have the transcript. So the enhanced transcripts for each of these courses is like phenomenally good. Like you could learn most of the material just by looking at the transcript because it has inline code and it's like a blog post that's really well done. So yeah, I think you're going to really like learning with the video and the transcript together, and you can really dive deep into this stuff. So when you see 8 minutes of learning material, that's like an entire morning of you studying this material. It's going to be super, super great. So yeah, we build an assertion library and a testing framework, and then we swap out our own implementation for Jest so that you can see how things kind of work together. Really, really critical part to your learning. All right, so then static analysis testing in JavaScript applications. This is the base of the trophy, is the static testing tools. So in here I show you how to set up ESLint and set up Prettier, because that, I believe, it is a static testing tool. It's also a code formatter, but it will reveal things in your code that you may not have known, and it will make your code more maintainable. So it is a static testing tool. So I show you how to set that up and how to use it effectively. I show you how to set up flow. You can use TypeScript if you want to. The reason I'm mentioning this is because everybody's going to ask me, well, what about TypeScript? Yeah, you can totally use TypeScript if you want to. Some of the steps will be different. I use Flow, and I like Flow, but either way, whatever you go with, you're going to want a static type system, which is why I show setting up Flow. And the benefits of using these static type systems. So yeah, linting, formatting, and the static type system. I show you how to set those up. I also show you how to hook it up into Git. So anytime you commit some code, it checks all of the everything, so you don't ever commit code that doesn't type check and things. And I also like how to automatically format everything so people don't have to run the formatter or integrate with their IDE, which I also show you how to do. And all of this is still coming with the code examples and the transcripts. So this one's really solid. Then this one, the mocking fundamentals, is similar to the testing fundamentals, where Jest has some amazing mocking capabilities built in. But they can be pretty magical for people. I've given I've taught people testing a lot, and one of the places where people trip up all the time is in the mocking. Like we can't live in a world of testing without mocking something, and so you do have to fake out the world a little bit. And that comes with trade-offs and things, but it's worthwhile for lots of scenarios. So getting a good understanding of how the mocking abstraction works and what to mock and when to mock and things like that is really an important skill to learn. And understanding how that abstraction works is key to using that abstraction effectively. That applies to any abstractions. So I'm going to show you how you could implement Jest mocking capabilities in like vanilla JavaScript in Node. And it's not like nearly as powerful or anything, but hopefully it gives you an idea. But it will give you an idea of how Jest mocking works from a fundamental philosophical level. And you'll be able to use that abstraction more effectively. So this one's great. I think you'll like that one a lot. Okay, so this is where, so the first couple are like, that's 20 minutes, this is 8 minutes, this is 13 minutes. And like I said, like all three of these things, that's a full day at least of you like really digging into this stuff and getting a ton of value out of that. So here's where we start getting pretty hardcore, is when I talk about configuring Jest. So Jest itself, one of the things that I loved about it when I first started using Jest was how little you had to actually do to get it up and running and be like useful. So like back in the olden days of actually not that long ago, we had to like pull in 7 different tools to get our testing environment all configured nice. And it was super annoying. I had an entire talk that just talked about how to get code coverage with ES6 and Webpack and Karma and Mocha. It was like a total nightmare. It was an hour-long kind of tutorial of showing you how to just get the code coverage working. That was a nightmare. So when I installed Jest and they're like, yeah, code coverage, -- coverage, and everything just magically worked, my mind was blown. And so lots of times you don't really need to do much for Jest, but in like a legit big application, yeah, so like for open source modules, maybe that's fine, but for like little projects, but in a legit application, yeah, you're going to have to configure quite a bit. And so I show you how to do that for like custom Webpack loaders. And I show you the watch mode and teach you everything there is to know about Jest watch mode, which is amazing. I show you how to install custom watch mode plugins, some really awesome watch mode plugins. I show you how to use Jest to run your ESLint, which comes with a really awesome benefit of being able to track the files that are impacted by changes to other files. So if you remove an export or something, we'll go check that no other files are going to be using that export and breaking. So like being able to run both your server tests and your client-side tests in the same process with Jest using the projects configuration, supporting dynamic imports, like everything that you could imagine from a typical like real world production application that you'd want for your front-end application, you're going to learn in this how to configure Jest for that scenario. So yeah, it's fantastic. I highly recommend it. You'll also learn how to, like, lots of the things that you'll learn will be applicable for if you want to configure Jest for backend as well. So yeah, you're gonna love this. It's gonna be great. So install, configure, and script. Okay, so before somebody says so, I know that I is lowercase, it should be uppercase. We're gonna fix that. But yeah, so Cypress. So we talked about Jest. It's amazing. Like this is how we configure it. And in this course about configuring Jest, all of the tests are like render the all the test does is render a component. It doesn't actually do anything. It just is rendering the component so we can experience what a typical like configuration environment needs to be. We'll cover testing that stuff later. We do the same thing for Cypress, except Cypress is even simpler to configure. Most of the difficulty with Cypress is setting up your environment so that you can run Cypress on it. But with end-to-end testing, the interesting thing is you probably have a way to set up your environment for development, and that's normally the same environment you're going to have for your end-to-end testing. So you probably, like, whatever you're doing, if you have your entire application in a Docker image and then you fire that up and then you fire up your thing to ping that Docker image, whatever you're doing, that's very unique for every application. And so I don't really show how to get the server up and running or whatever, or what the server's technically doing. I just show you this is how you start up your server and then start up Cypress to start hitting that server once it's all started and ready. And then when the Cypress tests are done, then we'll kill the server too. And so I show you how to script Cypress for that, both in CI and locally. How to, yeah, there's not a ton of configuration there. So most of this course is about using Cypress effectively. I show you how to use Cypress as a replacement for Chrome. If you want to try Cypress-driven development, which is like an amazing workflow. Imagine the last time you had to develop something that was like 3 states in. And this is why we're like, yeah, hot module replacement is the best. But if you've tried hot module replacement, you know that you can't trust it. And so you end up refreshing anyway because you're like, oh, I'm in a bad state, I got to refresh. So with Cypress, you don't need hot module replacement. You just like you code up a short Cypress test to have it get to the state that you need to be in as you're developing, and then every time you save your files, you just rerun Cypress, and you're back in that state really, really fast. So it's an awesome workflow. And then when you're all done, you have a test that you could potentially actually use to verify that your stuff is still working. So I show you how to do that. I show you how to set up React dev tools in Cypress, so it legitimately can be useful beyond your regular like Chrome experience or whatever you're using to develop stuff. I show you how to debug and a bunch of things. And the thing is, with both of these, I had a maintainer of Jest review this, and he was like super thumbs up on it. And I had Gleb Mamatov, the maintainer of Cypress, he's a CTO. He reviewed this and just thought it was phenomenal. So I'm really, really excited to show you these things. Cool. So then, so far we haven't actually, like, all the examples are using React, but nothing that I show you is really super specific to React, except for maybe the React dev tools in Cypress. I'm sure you can apply the same process to other dev tools. But this course is where we really get into the nuts and bolts of testing components with React. This one's 32 lessons long. It's over an hour and a half of really, really dense material. I show you Redux, I show you React Router, I show you how to mock out an animation library so you don't have to wait for animations to finish before the DOM node is removed from the page in your tests. I show you React testing library, and I show you how React testing library really works. So like we start out with some really fundamentals. Let's just render this thing with a regular React DOM.render. So you get a really good idea of what's going on under the hood. I show you the debug tools that are available in React testing library. Yeah, just like pretty much like I wrote the library, so I kind of have a good idea of what it's capable of and the right way to go about things. Oh, and I show you asynchrony. That's one of the hardest things to test, is like asynchronous interactions and things. With React testing library, it's actually a lot easier than it used to be, and so I show you how to do that. I also show you test-driven development. So we've got a couple videos on here. We're going to build a form, but we're going to write the tests first. And UI test-driven development has always been like pretty difficult to do. But I show you that it's actually pretty straightforward. When you know what the business requirements are ahead of time, then you can test drive even UI. If you don't know the business requirements ahead of time, then you probably should not develop anything until you do. Yeah, so this one, like, this is huge. You're going to love this one. Yeah, big time. And there's a lesson in here, or there are a couple lessons in here, is like how you test a Redux connected component and a React Router component. And then there's, in the configuring Jest, I show you how, like, so in both of those, I say what you do is you create a custom render method, and you use that one instead of React testing library's render method. You kind of compose them together to make your own. And then in this, in the configuration, I show you how you can put that custom render method in a, like this utilities file, and how you can import that file just like you would a normal node module. And so in your application, like your application is a snowflake, and it's going to be different from everybody else's. So you can have a custom render method that does all the things that your components need, and then you can just import that one instead of React testing libraries. And I show you how you can do that kind of in both of those courses. So I think you'll love that. I even show you how to test render props, render prop components, because lots of people ask me about that, and you'll be surprised. It's really straightforward. I also have a lesson in there about testing React portals, and that one's also very underwhelming because React testing library makes it pretty trivial. I also show you how to test accessibility using Axe Core. And that's actually really pretty straightforward once you figure out how to get going with that. And it's fantastic. I mean, accessibility testing can't get you all the way to a perfectly accessible application, but it can really help you with a lot of low-hanging fruit. And React testing library itself can help you get a lot of low-hanging fruit in accessibility as well. So I think you're going to love this. It's going to be awesome. So one of the things that I talk a lot about is avoiding testing implementation details. And so like this test React components with React testing library, I consider React, Redux, React Router, I consider all those to be implementation details. And so like while we try to avoid implementation details, and so our test shouldn't actually know that it's React, right? But we are going to be rendering components and stuff like that. So there are some specific to React things in our tests, but most of our tests should be free of the implementation detail of React or Redux or the router, because the user doesn't care that we're using those tools, and neither should our tests, because the closer our tests are tied to the implementation, the more they're going to break when we change the implementation, even if it's a refactor that the user wouldn't even notice, right? And so because of that fact, and because these tools allow you to write your tests that are free from the implementation, you can actually use the underlying tool, which is DOM testing library, to test any JavaScript framework. And so everything like this is, I'm going to call out your help. Please, like, I need you to convince the world that this is not just about React. Because I'm clearly a React fanboy. I love React. I think it's fantastic. So lots of people, I think, are going to assume that this is a React thing. Totally not true. React is an implementation detail. And in this course, I show you how you can apply all of these same things that you're learning to any JavaScript framework. I have like only 11 videos on here. So there are only 11 frameworks that I show you. And there are many frameworks in the world, but it should give you a good idea of where to start testing in this way with any framework that you can imagine. All of these lessons have a simple counter component, because like the test isn't the important part. It's how do we render our thing so that we can use the cool utilities that we learned about when we're talking about React testing library. So I show you jQuery, and I show you AngularJS and Angular and Vue and a bunch of others. So I think you'll like that. So as if that wasn't enough, there's more. So over the last couple weeks, I've been having these interviews with industry experts. So I got the Syntax FM crew on for a chat about practical testing. So that's Wes Boss and Scott Talinsky, both fantastic, awesome people. We had a great time chatting about testing. Marcy Sutton, just a brilliant individual. Accessibility. Jessica Kerr was like super excited about types and TypeScript. She got really kind of like very excited about this. It was a fun interview. JB Rainsberger, we had a great chat about testing practices. Visual regression testing is one thing that I don't get to in this course. And so Angie Jones has been doing QA for 15 years, and she's working for Applet Tools right now, a company that I'm really bullish about. I haven't actually used their product yet, but I've been given several demos, and it's an amazing product. And they just released integration with Cypress, and so you can get some visual regression testing with Cypress. Their tool is just phenomenally awesome. And Angie Jones talks with me a little bit about that, so that was cool. We talk about snapshot testing and ReasonML with Jared Forsyth. Some really interesting conversation points there. That was a really fun interview. Justin Searles and I talked about testing culture and several other really interesting, like our conversation kind of went all over the map, but that was really interesting as well. Rosie Sherry runs this thing for like, I don't know, I think it was 8 years or something like that, called the Ministry of Testing. It's a really awesome community that you can get involved with around testing. They do conferences and things like that. So pretty cool. We chatted a little bit about what she's doing there. And then Kent Beck. If you don't know who Kent Beck is, let me just give you a quick intro. He was original signer of the Agile Manifesto. He created Extreme Programming, and he says he rediscovered test-driven development. He really discovered it. He created it in the way that we know it today, but he always says he rediscovered it because like the old programmers of his time, like when he brought this around in the early or late 90s, they were all like, oh, we've been doing this all the time. Isn't everybody doing this? So yeah, he doesn't claim to have created it, but really, as we know it today, he created test-driven development. And so that was a really interesting conversation. He's kind of a big deal. So yeah, those interviews were fantastic, and I think you'll love them. And then we got these printables. So the essential testing glossary, full annotated transcripts. Holy cow, those are really good. A poster. I want to see you tweet a selfie with this poster that you print. Put it up in your office. It's great. And then a testing checklist. You'll love that. So yeah, this is me. I've got some folks who are really nice, said nice things about me and about the course. I've given previews to people. We're gonna have more testimonials. I got like 15 or 20 of these from people, so we'll get more of those up on the site. So this thing is totally live today, right now. You can totally get it. Well, okay, so you can't actually watch it yet, but you can get in on the early bird pricing. So yeah, I think you're gonna love this. So we've got the basic testing. You got the bronze, silver, and gold, right? And you see how it's like off. Joel told me that the designers were like really upset at him for making it not perfectly straight, but I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, with the basic testing, you're gonna get the first 3 basic modules, streaming and basic transcripts. And then with the full testing, the silver, you get all 7 modules. And then with the pro gold, you see how it sparkles? Isn't that cool? I love that. So you're gonna get all the modules, stream and download. You can watch it offline. All of the interviews, like these were super cool. You're gonna love those. And the fully annotated transcripts with inline code and screenshots. I'm telling you, these are amazing. And all the source code and the printable stuff. So you're gonna love this. Go talk to your boss. I've been tweeting about this morning, but like if your boss isn't paying for you to be trained, then that is not okay. Like your boss should be paying for you to be trained. So go talk to them about this and get them to buy you a subscription, or not. It's not a subscription. You buy once, you get it forever. But yeah, they should be buying a license for you for this. It's going to be so awesome. So with that, one question that people are going to ask me about is team license. We are going to be adding team licenses, hopefully before the end of the early bird. Should be pretty soon. The early bird or the course is going to launch in a week. It'll be officially launched, assuming so we're still technically working on, we've got it all right here. It's still technically under construction, working on a couple rough edges. We had some funny issues with service workers. So if you're seeing just HTML and stuff, use a different browser or clear your the cache for this site. Because yeah, service workers sometimes can cause problems. If you find out what the problem was, then go report that to the Gatsby plugin for that. Let's see, other questions that I know people are going to be asking. Yeah, so early bird, I'm actually not certain when the early bird is going to be over. It'll go through the weekend for sure. I'm not positive. So you'll want to pick this up as soon as you can. I will keep you up to date. If you're subscribed to my newsletter, which I think looks like they took the newsletter off, I'll have them add it back on. But when you subscribe to the course, you'll get subscribed to the newsletter. If you just can't wait, go to kcd.im/news, and that will take you to my newsletter. I will keep you updated on the timing of things and whatever. And I will still send you regular emails about useful stuff around testing for the next week. So great. With all that, now I'm going to turn over to questions. Woo! Holy mackerel, that was almost a half hour. Okay, cool. Let me, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop this out. Pop out chat. Whoop. We'll bring it over here. And I will answer your questions at this present moment. Swix, test all the things. Is that how you say it? Swix, Sean? Okay. Hello, everyone. This is awesome. I think so, too. Can't wait. Me either. Test the tests. Yeah. I stopped what I'm doing immediately. Thank you. My tweet said, stop what you're doing right now and watch this. What's the thing you got for blank tabs? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a question I get every time. This is called Palette Tab. Google it. It's great. PaletteTab.com. You should, yeah. Oh, hey, Sean's got my back. I should have checked that out. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Hey, first live stream. Welcome. Over 100 people watching. How many people are watching now? Still. Okay, 55. That's all right. How long will the early price be available? Okay, how much content is not in your front-end master's course? So if you've watched my front-end master's course and you just saw me give an overview, then you should know that there's quite a bit more in this stuff than what was in the front-end master stuff. It's more up to date. It's more dense. So the front-end master stuff, I can't remember exactly how long it is, but this is like very to the point, way more dense. And then there's a lot of supporting material around it to help you solidify this stuff. Yeah, hey, thanks, Sean. All right. Thank you, Benjamin. I'm excited for you to dig into it next weekend. Sorry, that's a pretty common confusion. Source of confusion is it's actually not available right now. It'll be available next week. How'd you say this course compares to other stuff? Do they pair together well? I would say that if you buy this one, you don't need front-end masters just for my testing course on front-end masters. This course covers everything that I cover pretty much in front-end masters. But if you have front-end masters, you also get a bunch of other things. So yeah, you make your decision there. Thank you. Going through the React testing library videos. Sweet. Which ones? Do you have early access? Maybe there's a bug. Lucky you. Yeah, testing trophy. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for the birthday wishes. CDD. Yes, Cypress-driven development. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, thanks, Peter. Where now I'm lost. Okay, happy birthday. Thank you. Thanks, man. Okay. You're welcome. I'm looking to break into the industry. So I want to go live the 25th? Yes. Yeah, goat. That's the React testing library. That's the logo for React testing library is the goat. So that's the significance of this emoji. Kent Beck should be a hero component. Yeah, he is pretty cool. And it was fun to talk to somebody who has the same name as I do. Talking to my boss right after. Yeah. If he doesn't pay for it, then tell him he should. But yeah, I can appreciate investing in yourself, spending money on yourself to get better. The videos are live and watchable. What? Joel? What? I didn't know that. The bonus content will be live next week. I didn't know this. Well, hey, everybody. Go look at it right now. I thought that wasn't going to be live until next week. So go right now. Bye, 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 bye. Go watch it. Have a good weekend. Sorry, Joel. That was a miscommunication, misunderstanding on my part. Thanks, Joel. How does this compare to front-end masters? I talked about that a little bit. It's lots more stuff. Is there a special price? No, there's no purchase parity thing like WestBoss. Nothing planned right now. Maybe we're working on it. I want this to be fair. I do a lot of free stuff as well, so you can check out my YouTube channel and things. I put out tons and tons of stuff. This is more, and it's more in depth, and it's like there's a lot more that you get out of this. But yeah, as far as the purchasing power or parity power or whatever, parity purchasing power, that's really hard to do, right? And so we are kind of working on that for sure. But yeah, nothing right now. Can a package be upgraded? Good question. I don't know. You can upgrade later. Looks like it will be the full price. So Joel is being funny, but yeah, technically you can upgrade later, but you can't get a partial price. So buy what you want. Okay. Sweet, 150 people. Thanks, everybody. My thoughts on Storybook as a testing tool. Storybook is a development tool. I don't really see it as a testing tool. I used it once in Downshift for like hosting my end-to-end testing, and I'd hit Cypress on that. It was really difficult because it's in an iframe, and so I had to jump through extra hoops to make it work. So I was not super fond of that. I'm actually a big fan of DocZ. It's DOCZ. Go to docz.site. Actually, I'll just give you a link here really quick. HTTPS docz site. And yeah, I'm moving most of my stuff over there because I really like that. I think it's great. Yeah, Joel, thanks for stealing my thunder. No, it's all right. You corrected me. I was totally wrong on stuff. So, were you able to check your approach with Meteor? No, I haven't actually. Sorry. But because there are no implementation details, all that you need to do is take your Meteor thing, put it onto the page, then you say, "Hey, DOM testing library, give me all the queries for that node," and then boom, you're off to the races, just like in everything else. So it's like literally just a couple lines of code to make that work for any framework. Well, I guess it depends. Like some frameworks require a lot of setup and stuff, but yeah, like typically should be very, very small amount of stuff. So all the things that you're going to learn from this course, even though it's kind of React specific for some of it, the principles are free of implementation details, so you can swap out implementations of stuff. Should early bird be available now? Yes, it totally is. Tony, go get it. I want the course, but it's high as a student. I'm sorry. See if you can get like some sponsorship or something. I don't know. I'll talk about maybe making a special price for students, but yeah, right now we don't have any plans like that. So things keeps on jumping around. Are you using Jest and testing library in this course? I am. Yes, exactly. Using that, the React testing library, absolutely. I would definitely strongly discourage using Enzyme. I feel very strongly about this. In fact, so one of the reasons that got me so like gung-ho about this course was I kept seeing people talking about using Enzyme and let's shallow render and let's do all this stuff. And I was like, no, we've got to stop doing this. It's not good for your test base. So I've got to teach people how to do it the right way. And that's where this course came from, was my desire to teach everybody to do it the right way. Because I've been doing this as workshop form, and it's been working great for me. But I want to reach more people. That's what this is all about. You shouldn't have to pay for a flight and pay for a hotel and pay for a rental car and bad food that is expensive, and like on top of your workshop ticket, which will be like really expensive as well. All of those things together, I just did a Twitter poll where like most people are spending, their boss is spending more than $1,300 for trainings like that, with all of those costs combined. So you shouldn't have to spend like thousands of dollars to get this really good content. That's what this is all about. I realize that it's expensive for some people in different countries, but this is like a very, very valuable thing. This is going to change the way that you code. Yeah, thank you, Adam, for sharing that. Clear data. Yeah, sorry, that service worker thing was a beast. Not sure if the extra 98 is worth it. Yeah, I think you will find that the extra $98 is worth it. You're gonna love it, and you'll want to do this before the early bird goes away, because we're not gonna do a sale lower than this ever. It's just special. I stayed up last night and made it available. Kent didn't tell Kent. Oh yeah, that's why. Well, thank you, Joel. I actually think it's great that it's available. I'm actually very, very excited about that. Thank you. Just got it this morning. Pretty excited to go through them soon. Yeah. Sweet. Is it going to be updated as libraries release new versions? So yeah, there are a couple things. So Jest, as I was developing this course, I was teaching about one thing about configuring Jest, and I was like, oh man, I wish that this was better. I don't want to have to explain this weird thing about this configuration. So I filed an issue. I said, hey, let's change it to this. And they're like, okay. And so yeah, there is something that's going to change. It's my fault, but it's going to be a great improvement. And when that happens, I will re-record the videos for the new stuff, because that's totally my bad. There's also a change in the G hooks. No, not G hooks. That's the old thing. What is the thing? Not lent staged. What the junk? Husky. That's it. In Husky, they just barely published 1.0 like last week, and so I'm gonna the only change is where you put configuration is very, very small, minimal change, but I'll be re-recording those as well soon. So yeah, I do plan on keeping things up to date as libraries release new versions. Luckily, like most of this stuff, I don't think will require many changes. The cool thing is that when you don't test with implementation details, then even as, like, for example, if a React were to add a like significant new feature or something where you change how you write components, for example, like because we don't test implementation details, we don't have to make any changes to how we test our stuff. That is like a pretty significant benefit in my mind to avoiding testing implementation details. So yeah, anyway, to answer your question, the short way, yes, I do plan on keeping it updated. What level of testing experience is recommended? So check this out. Fundamentals. So you can start from square one. I will teach you exactly what testing even is. And from square one to square 101, you will get it all. So yeah, no experience with testing necessary. Waiting for team licenses. Yeah, hopefully we can get that done. What does the checklist contain? I will. So Egghead is actually still working on that one. I'm not totally sure what the checklist contains, but I understand that it is going to be great. Thank you, Amanda, for saying nice things. And Andres, I meant you will pay the... Yeah. Oh, upgrades will be fair and equitable. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Joel. Joel Hooks, the Flash guy? Robot legs, what? I don't know. That's so funny. Yeah, Joel goes back. All right. Any videos that could get added? Yeah, that's actually a great question. So I am thinking about, there's no like specific, here's an Express server, let's test that. But I do have material about that that I could, and I have concepts and ideas and things that I could teach you about. At PayPal, we do a lot of node servers and stuff. And so I have experience with that. So I am maybe going to add, I'm not going to make any promises about the future. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, but I am thinking about adding another course in the future about testing Node. And so yeah, you might see that coming because that does differ from UI testing, which most of the course is about. Point me to the web page. Yeah, here you go. HTTPS testingjavascript.com. Yeah, thank you, Dave. Dave is a friend of mine on Twitter. He talks with me sometimes. I like you, Dave. You answering here or via email? I am getting many emails, but I will try to get to them as quickly as I can. How long will the early bird last? Until next week. I'm not 100% positive when the end will be, so you'll want to subscribe to my newsletter, which I will just paste right in here. HTTPS. Well, HTTPS will work on this link as well. But anyway, there you go. What's testing goal? What's the goal of testing? So that you can feel confident, you can ship your stuff to production, and it won't break. Yep, that's my goal with testing. Also, like to enhance my workflow. That's one thing. Like lots of people are like, "Hey, what's it will be for pro tier." I don't know what you're talking about, Joel, but thanks. Yeah, so lots of people. I forgot what I was talking about. I got distracted. Is a Egghead Pro license independent? Yes. It's hosted on Egghead, but it's a totally separate entity. So, yeah. All right. I think if the site is not working for you and you're on a mobile device, like our friend Camilo, if you are just, well, try just clearing your data for that on that device for that site. And if that doesn't work, then let me know and we can figure out what's going on. Some say that well-written tests are like documentation of your code. Yeah, yeah, it can be sometimes. I've mostly found that to be a pipe dream. Sometimes it can be well-written documentation. All right, I got to jump out. I think my son's going to come in the room now. So it was awesome to chat with you all. Thank you so much for all the awesome stuff that you all are doing and for supporting me in all the stuff that I do. We'll see you later. Bye. Oh yeah, and share this with your friends. Yeah.